I think for everyone it has been a very difficult number of months where senators here have endeavoured to do their work as best as possible under a cloud, no question about that. And, you know, sometimes when the spotlight is focused on individuals, you know, it makes us all think about the job that we do, how well we do it, and in some instances how we don't do it so well, and where we can improve that. And I think, Leader, in the last 2 years, and to be very fair to yourself and to the leaders of all the groupings within the House, there have been significant changes made in relation to how the Seanad operates, with regard to the Public Consultation Committee, various other ideas and new initiatives that have been brought forward. And I think that we do need to, in a considered way, and I would suggest that it's not just government have the responsibility here. Because, to be frank with you, Leader, and I talk about your colleagues in the Dáil and on Taoiseach, that I wouldn't necessarily leave it just to your colleagues in the Dáil or on Taoiseach to come up with ideas on reform, and not just reform of this House. What I believe the public spoke for, and what the public want, is political reform in all of its structures. In the Oireachtas itself, in the Dáil, Uachtaráin na hÉireann, the Seanad, how local government operates, how politics and politicians serve their constituents and serve the Irish people. Because what the result in the vote showed was that people do value their constitution. They value Bunreacht na hÉireann. They value their political structures, no matter how imperfect they may be from time to time. And we have to recognise that. When the Taoiseach brought forward the Seanad abolition bill here, in one of only 2 occasions where he saw fit in nearly 3 years to address this House, an elected House of the Oireachtas, I accused him at the time of the greatest act of constitutional vandalism. And he wasn't allowed away with that, because the public made the decision, and the public are sovereign, and the Irish people are sovereign. And the Taoiseach has accepted that, and that is good, and I welcome that. Now, for us as parliamentarians and for us as senators, now our job is to move on from that. The campaign is over. People listen to our arguments. And I do want to commend colleagues from all parties and those of none for the work that they did during the course of this referendum campaign. Particularly like to commend those who advocated a no vote, and to forgive those who advocated a yes vote. But being serious, I'll leave that up to you, David, to discuss. But I do think during the course of this, Leader, that there was a focus on our political structures, and not just on the Seanad. And that's a good thing, and that is a good thing. But what is not a good thing, and what we've got to get straight into now, is the budget. Because have no doubt the timing of this referendum, and the timing of the referendum with a week to go to the budget, when we'll be discussing old age pensions and social welfare and jobs and medical cards and all the other areas of government expenditure, that the last 3 weeks have been taken up on the Seanad referendum. Now, I asked previously, many members across the House asked previously, that we change the way we do our budgetary process, that we actually try to have proper, informed debates well in advance of a budget being produced by a Minister for Finance. And what is going to happen next week is that the budget will be produced and announced as a fait accompli. That's not what the public want. And part of the vote of the rejection of the Seanad abolition was very clearly people saying, I want you to do it differently. I want this government and any future government to do your job differently. And not to treat us like fools, because you never underestimate the electorate. The electorate read into this. Now, we've got to get on with our job of work. And I'll support you in that, Leader. And I do think in a very considered way that there, as you have mentioned, a number of reports and bills, 2 bills in this specific House, by Senator Crown and Senator Zappone and Senator Quinn, but other parties and other members have also produced documents, not just reforming this House, and that is required, but in political reform, reform of our committee system, overuse of the parliamentary whip, reform of the Dáil. And it is ironic, and I'll finish now, Laska Hirlock, that this Thursday in the lower house, that the reform package that Cabinet cobbled together 2 weeks ago in the midst of the Seanad campaign, they cobbled it together, that they'd say we do a couple of extra hours on a Friday and we'll sit at 9 o'clock on a Thursday. Do you know what they're allowing the time for debate on Thursday about Dáil reform. 20 minutes. 20 minutes they're allowing in the Dáil to discuss Dáil reform. Not acceptable. Finally, Cathaoirleach, can I congratulate at long last Minister Shatter for the passing of the Court of Appeal referendum. And I think that is a very important piece of legislation. And it is, and I want to see the Court of Appeal set up and running by October 2014, as has been stated by the Minister. I think that's a good thing. But let's get on with our job, let's improve how we do it, and let's look at our structures and work together to improve this House of Parliament. Thank you.